they don't really mean too much. So it's going to be down to really practicing, scrimming, basically, but in a more competitive environment here in WePlay Season 3. Now, the draft progressing very quickly. Earth Spirit, Chen, Spectre banned out, Enchantress and Odia picked up by PD, while Vengeful Spirit, Lone Druid, Oracle, and Gyro are the bans by Na'Vi and Wisp Nature's Prophet. There's global ganking duo for Natus Vincere are picked up. Well, what do they put up with them? Do you get the Tiny? Do you ban out the Tiny here? Do you look at Chaos Knight? Do you go for something a little funky? What do you think?
I just like the Chaos Knight when it comes to the OD's ultimate. It'll just like rip them to shreds. But if you can get the Chaos Knight in a good environment where he doesn't have, say, the OD Sanity's Eclipse or even like the orbs just doing 1,000,000 damage, one click and they're dead, then sure. But I would rather it be paired up with, surprisingly enough, they banned out the Gyro. Gyro's a decent hero. In this situation for them, for Na'Vi, because they might be going against Enchantress offlane, Enchantress support. That's a lot of Rocket Barrage. But I guess they'll probably go for either Sven or Tiny. It just depends. Nature's Prophet ganking over the top right now seems very scary. They could still go for classic Na'Vi strategy, which is they just pick like Queen of Pain or something, and they have IO mid. But maybe ProDotA know that. And so what they do is they pick up a disruptor. This helps out a lot for, obviously, the Wisp relocates. You can just drop the kinetic field onto them, and you can either glimpse back or take the fight straight up with a static storm too.
Well, for now, let's see what Na'Vi go for. I want something juicy, you know. I want something to get the blood pumping. I don't know if I want Wisp Tiny. I want something a little more funky. I really would like to see the Chaos Knight, but against an OD, it's a little bit awkward with the Arcane Orb pumping through those illusions. And for now, it's going to be a Witch Doctor, just bolstering that support lineup you've got and adding in even more sustainability to your team fights between Witch Doctor heal, Wisp keeping everyone up alive, and that Nature's Prophet being able to make up the numbers and TP in aggressively as well. And one thing I worry about, though, here, this Enchantress, the majority of the time now in like CIS games, we see her as that 4-role roamer. You know, aggressive dual lanes, trying to go aggressive into the enemy jungle, taking the offlane camp and pushing forward like that is kind of the way it's played, rather than what we used to see in NA, where it was just straight up offlaner, and we saw it a little bit in SEA as well. But if you're going to do it that way, you're going to need something like a Spirit Breaker or a Night Stalker here to try and be that beefy frontline hero to deal with these to deal with the Witch Doctor, just try and bully them out of lane. Do you go for that now, or do you go for your safe lane hero like a Juggernaut at this point?
I like the offlane pick here right now for ProDotA, unless they really want to get something to... I think it's just better to wait for Navi's carry hero or their mid just to see if you can counter it out. So like you said, Night Stalker can be really good in situations, but it doesn't add... It could be bursted down pretty easily. He might not get any levels in the offlane. I like Void a little bit more in this. Well, at the same time, it's kind of going back to the last game where you have this Wisp, Nature's Prophet, Witch Doctor constantly running at you, low cooldowns, and Void. Sure, if you get one big chrono, then you pretty much can win the game from there. Or if you miss, or you only get one hero, even two, like you can pretty much lose the game just because you don't have enough burst damage. Let's see, Ember Spirit. What do you think about Ember Spirit here?
I am kind of okay with it. Safe lane Ember's going to do pretty decently. You know, he's relatively self-sustaining up on that safe lane. Doesn't need too much babysitting after the first like 3 or 4 levels. But now you add in a Drow Ranger for Na'Vi, and that kind of goes out the window. I was looking at it in like, you know, a vacuum kind of thing where Nature's Prophet against Ember Spirit plus Disruptor. Furion gets sent back to base a few times, Ember Spirit gets his levels up, and then you've got that, you know, solo kill power with Flame Guard, Remnants, plus the Chains to cancel out his TP. But now you add in the Drow Aura, and Nature's Prophet's going to have a hell of a lot of damage up on this top lane. I'm just wondering what this Wisp role is going to be. Is it just going to be like relocate saving people and sustaining them through the damage output of PD? Or do you actually have like a combo with it?
No, Na'Vi never run combos with it. It's just what they've been running. They do it where they just keep on stacking for mid sometimes, and they just help Dendi constantly for the first 3 or 4 levels with Wisp, and they just put them on like Queen of Pain or like this Puck, and then you put And then you just go really aggressive. You bottle, like sometimes you'll go back to base with Wisp, and then you'll TP mid, you'll fill up Dindy's bottle, you'll have your own bottle at the Wisp too. It's just very annoying to play against just because it gives so much sustain to that mid lane. ProDotA here, they kind of need a really good fighting off lane hero. I think Tide.
5 seconds remaining.
Okay. Okay, that's Enchantress. What?
Help me. I mean, it's tiny off lane, right? Oh, it's a safe lane Nature's Prophet for Ditchira. Mid Dendy Drow? Is this happening right now? General Batrider off lane, mid Dendy Drow. Yep, safe
Tiny
lane
off
Nature's
lane.
Prophet. Ahmo's playing the Tiny. And Arzik is over on the Disruptor. Big Num will play the Enchantress. Okie dokie. Interesting stuff.
So, okay, so Tiny is obviously a really good hero, but he needs levels. And he also needs to get a little bit of farm so he has enough either for, let's say, a bottle. So he can sustain his mana pool. In this game, he might go for Arcane Boots. He'll probably go for Arcane Boots and Blink Dagger. That'll be his go-to. And if he can, he will just wreck the crap out of all of these heroes from Na'Vi. He can just one-shot them. But he has to get online first. And that's going to be the biggest problem. So it's all up to Roger and how much space he can create with the Enchantress here for... Oh, it can go mid. Obviously now because Dendy's playing Drow Ranger mid, that hero can get ganked so easily. But at the same time, like I told you, Seneko just babysits Dendy. So it's really hard to get kills on Dendy at sometimes.
Well, we'll see what they plan on doing. Already starting us off with an early movement from Roger. High ground observer board going to be watching for that Wisp and seeing what the Drow Ranger's up to. But General Batrider, that's something we've seen a hell of a lot of in the past month or so. He's loved his bat. Seneko on the Wisp, and towards mid is Dendy's Drow Ranger, like we said. That mid Drow going to be relatively susceptible to the rotations in from Enchantress if she smokes up. Ditchira safely in Nature's Prophet. Again, something that has been a key mainstay role here and kind of carry hero. Being able to TP around and be very hyperactive with your movements. As Na'Vi, we've got some relatively mobile heroes to deal with here. You know, the Ember Spirit's going to be jumping himself around, and it's mid-Ember, while OD is heading towards the safe lane for Garter. Zeke Disruptor, Roger on that Enchantress, and Ahmo's playing the offlane Tiny. Now, offlane Tiny, we've seen a lot of different things, and you mentioned the Arcane's Blink. The way that Sexy Bambo used to play this was he used to go like Phase Boots, Wand, Blink, and then into like a Shadow Blade or a Force Staff. And the Phase Boots was just like to allow you to chase people down a little bit easier. Arcane's is good for that kind of mana sustain and keeping these combos going. As he's dealing with Ditchira, but not very effectively. Ahmo, he's looking like he might just die. He doesn't get the bounty rune and he's dropped himself down to 100 HP. He's going to have to tango himself up and return to lane. That's not the start you want as Roger. He's not moving over to this offlane camp just yet. Heading into the safe lane jungle for now. Which laning setup do you prefer here?
Well, they're just going to put a lot of pressure onto the mid lane, in which case they put Sunlight here because he has the Searing Chains to really help out as well as the Flame Guard. But he needs to be very, 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 very careful. I'm Rabbit now. I'm Bugs Bunny. Got that lisp now. But once he eats a Tango, he's pretty much screwed if Nature's Prophet TPs in. And he's set up in a nice position here for Ditya to just constantly TP in. So you need to be very careful in the mid lane here.
General is bullying back Arzik a fair amount as well. Damage output's pretty insane up against this Disruptor. They could even TP Ditchira off the top if they wanted to. So yeah, you're right. Looking at Sunlight mid, he's got his PMS, he's got his little salve, and tangoing through the tree he places. A happy little amount of regen there for Sunlight, doubling up the duration. And Ahmo is being fully forced back by the treants and the right-click damage. I mean, you think about Ditchira, with a Null Talisman and Boots, he's already clicking, a good 64. You add in the extra bonus from that Drow Aura, it's only 7 now, but as Drow gets into, level 3, which he's not far away from, Dendy, pumping a lot of damage into these side lanes, while Sunlight, look at him, forced back off the creep wave. He can't get any last hits because Dendy just keeps throwing these frost arrows. He misses 2 attacks uphill. But regardless, it's just this pressure with the first smoke up from Roger's Enchantress. They need to make something happen. The question is, can they actually do anything here? There's no enchant, there's nothing to slow down Artstyle or even stop them from moving backwards to safety. First smoke pretty much wasted there from the Ench. Maybe he could have gone
Yeah.
up to top for the Batrider, but it does nothing.
Yeah, that was a
mid.
Batrider play. Batrider's making the play general here. Oh my god, 5 stacks.
He's killed him. Carter's dead. That's the first blood going to your Batrider up at top. Good spot. And General. Oh, dearie me. 900 gold in the bank saved up already. This OD is meant to be crushing lanes, not losing them.
Yeah, this is what happens when you go for this really greedy arcane orb build. I just don't understand why people just don't go. Normally we see it all the time with the Astral Imprisonment for the mid lanes. And then even in the safe lane, you can set up so easily for Kinetic Field, set up for the gank, for the Enchanter, for Roger to come in. And yeah, going mid, that's the silliest play because you have a Witch Doctor here who can cast the creeps constantly, and they're not going to be moving or doing anything.
Dendi keeps missing uphill onto Sunlight. It's the funniest thing ever. He keeps launching these frost arrows and he's like, miss. Oh, bollocks. Miss again. Oh, are you really serious here? He's just getting RNG'd out. Sunlight going to be very fortunate to keep himself alive on this lane. If we look back down towards bottom, Tiny one last hit. He's closing in on level 3. But for now, he just doesn't want to die. Don't let yourself get picked off by this Nature's Prophet, but there's Seneko with the Treants forcing armor back even further. And Enchantress double creeps up again, smoke available. The play is going to come towards the top lane. Do they have Astral yet, Ryu? They do. So level 3 OD, they've got the Astral to set up for the Enchantress. They've got Kinetic Field, Glimpse, and that Thunderstrike. So General, he's going to get got on. He's being got on right now. They've trapped him in. It's going to be difficult to actually bring him down, though, with a fake TP there from Nature's Prophet. They were thinking about it, but General, the Wisp comes in to save him up, and Garter, he's dying. He doesn't have an Astral for himself. He's just going to get run over by the Firefly. Look at Arzik on the back, burning through with the sticky napalm charges up in the flame break. Arzik is dying and ticking over. He's a double kill for General. Looking for a third as Roger. He's trying to push forward aggressively, but General picks up not only 2 heroes, but also the bloody little hellbear that Roger gave him as free money flows into this bat. 1,000 gold, Tranquil Boots are up, 4 minutes in. It's 4 minutes in, and this freaking Batrider has 2,500 net worth.
It's just, when you see how impatient teams are, it hurts so much. Like, everything is because ProDotA is a very, very impatient. Like, they set up for the kill way too soon. Like, the Enchantress needed to be there already. Like, you can wait until the smoke breaks. You can come into the lane, and then you can start by using your Astral, like, once he's nearby. But it took so long for the Enchantress to rotate over. And then they wasted Kinetic Field, too, like a second early, because the timing wasn't perfect as well.
And then mid lane, we already saw the salve get cancelled out onto Sunlight. He's gone for an interesting build here. I guess the mid lane without any magical damage really being thrown at him between Witch Doctor and Drow. It's all this physical right click. So the Sleight of Fist and the Searing Chains. He's going for a bit of a dodge there with the Sleight. Trying to get out of these arrows flying out and being flung by Dendi's Drow Ranger. But Flame Guard is usually where you get a lot of your damage from.
Yeah, this is a Flame Guard game, if I've ever seen one. This is a, well, nice Sleight of Chains there. That's very unlucky, but this is a really weird build. And they're going to be... Sunlight.
He's gone to level 6. The Gust is out from Dendi, and these Frost Arrows, look at them go. It's only level 1, but Ostal, no, he can't commit deep. Juked around the trees and Sunlight, he's out, but 28 health. He's only got Bottle, no brown boots. It's 6 minutes in, he's not level 6. This Ember Spirit has been completely shut down.
Yeah, did you miss a really easy kill there? Like, either ulting on top of him at the last second, because he's level 6 on his Furion, or even just casting it pre there, and then they could have made the push onto the high ground there, but he already TP'd back to the bottom lane, so his teleport was on cooldown. That's why he didn't dive mid.
Well, 2 people farming over in the jungle, Arzik and Roger. General doesn't want to let them do this too freely, and he's actually going to see a little stack here made over on the medium camp. I mean, it's not a massive amount of gold. He'll take a little Wolfie if he wants to, Arzik. This was not the play. I don't believe that's the right way of going about this. The Slight Chains are good and the Fairy Fire is back, but Arzik is being burnt down with that Flame Break as well. Kinetic Field holds in General's Batrider, but he's already level 7.5. He's got like 1,000 HP, and there just isn't the damage from ProDotA to deal with it.
It's just watching them get run over right now. And then the only hope they really have is this roaming Enchantress that's done nothing. And Tiny is still, like you said, he's because he started off with the boots, he's just harassed so easily out of the lane. He's level 5 now, so he can have a lot of burst potential here. We talked about it. They have really weak heroes until they start getting a lot of stats going on. But, yeah, Dendi, he's got about 1k HP if he goes to the strength treads. So, still, he's very tanky right now. Art Style is going to be getting his level 6 here soon. Oh, man. I'm very scared for ProDotA right now. I mean, they do have a lot of burst damage coming in the way of OD ulti, but still, General having a 7.5 minute blink dagger.
Some scary stuff. And they're going to go into Ahmo down the bottom lane. He Avatos is out. Looks like he might be okay for now. There's no more chase here from Na'Vi. TP was available from Ditya, but you don't really want to go deep into this tier 2, so just forces out a couple of bottle charges from Tiny. Well, Zeke is actually making his way down here, and they might be looking for a kill onto this Furion. And it's mid lane where Artstyle PD just want to get themselves up on the board. It's 4-0, 8 minutes in. And Sunlight is moving himself very aggressively into this tier 1, but it's into the mouth of the beast as just behind the tree line. Dendi is ready and waiting. Now actually farming through the jungle, so they're giving Artstyle time to get level 6, which is 300 experience away. And Dendi just building up a nice amount of gold for himself over in the little neutral camps.
I mean, just look at the damage right now in between the mid lanes. You got 108 on the Witch Doctor, and you only have 70 here on the Ember Spirit.
Yeah.
This
Like, they have the same base damage, it's just that freaking Drow aura.
Yeah, it's not even fair. I mean, even having the same base damage at this stage of the game when you're playing like a support Witch Doctor, but they had a really good strategy for Navi. Like, okay, we're going to dual lane mid against an OD. And instead, they just put the Ember Spirit mid, which made him get crushed. So, well, finally, pressure being applied by ProDotA. At least they might be able to take a tower finally.
Radiant's top tower
If they go hard enough into it. I don't think Na'Vi are going to give this one up too easily. They spotted Arzik over to the side. There's a glimpse here that Arzik kind of has to throw in the kinetic field as well. You can see and feel the paranoia from him, but General blinks aggressively forward into Roger. Saneko is dropping low, but they've still got this lovely lasso that Batrider's holding onto. Remnants forward onto Saneko, but the chains aren't there. He's got no mana. General being right-clicked down, but Garter, oh, you cannot fight into this. Ditura's Nature's Prophet is shredding through everybody. Trapped in the kinetic field for now, and Garter wants to try and get back into this one with his arcane orbs, but Arzik, Thunderstrike with the right clicks from Roger. Ditura's dropping low. He's got his strength threads up, though. It's not going to be enough. He'll tickle down to 8 HP and barely scrape away with the rest of his life, but they've got the lasso back up, jumps in onto 2, kills Enchantress with just the Firefly, and General, he's running rampant with a mega kill streak. The cask is bouncing between Garter and Ahmo. They're chasing this one down as well. Zeke in trouble again. The glimpse back, and Garter, wait a second, Astral up, but he's going to be glimpsed back to this location. Yep, back he goes. And ProDotA, they do escape with their lives, but just look at them. They're like sad little dogs limping back. Tail
they're
between their legs.
So defensive too. Like, they glimpse back, they use kinetic field at the same time, they use astral, and they have a Tiny there who has the potential to blow up the Batrider. They're playing so scared right now of Na'Vi, and it's just showing in their play.
And guys, I am aware there's no in-game sound. Well, I mean, there's no Dota TV audio of us talking. It's just going to be on the stream. I've been having some tech issues. I've managed to fix most of them, and that is one that I have not been able to fix, so I do apologise. I'll try and get it done for the next game, but for now, unfortunately, I'll have to watch the stream and listen through here. But Na'Vi, what have we got for Dendi? He's been hiding for quite some time. Dragonlance is up. Ryu, is it happening? Are we going to see the Dragonlance Aghanims Mjolnir build on this Drow Ranger?
I really dislike Ags until you have a BKB. Like, I think it does help out a lot with your farm going into the later stages of the game. Obviously, the damage output is pretty amazing. Got to relocate here. And... Drow Ranger don't care about no untouchable.
Arzik is like 4 hits away from death. And then he dies. after 4 hits from Dendy. You can't just walk into this Drought Ranger. It's not that simple. They're moving over to the Roche Pit now as well. As General, he's scouting out and he sees Sunlight. There's a defensive remnant further over to the east. But Ember Spirit is so freaking scared of what's happening. And then you've got Dichira pushing top. He's got his Midas up. The miss deny. Garter. Not thinking about the little treants and their damage, and obviously Dichira microing them pretty effectively. But they'll just move themselves into the pit. Take out Roche. Easy stuff. Now they've got ages to work with. These tier 2 towers, they're not going to last very long. And you've got to ask yourself the question, with a level 4 disruptor, with an Enchantress who has an Ogre Club, sure you've got impetus damage but no real big setup, a Tiny with phase but no blink, and I don't even want to talk about the OD or the Ember Spirit because they are having a sad game right now, sitting currently 2,800 net worth on the Ember Spirit and 3,500 on the OD, while the Wisp is barely behind. Outworld Devourer, Na'Vi are in such a commanding position. It's difficult to see a way back unless they completely fuck things up and dive into tier. Oh wait, it's Na'Vi. They're going to do that anyway, aren't they?
No, you're getting banned.
Have I been fired? I'm fired now. I said the F word. I'm fired.
You're
right.
fired.
Valve have decided I'm not allowed to cast Dota 2 anymore. Glance back, General trapped in with the kinetic field, but the relocate's coming on through. General, he keeps himself alive. The mech is out, and now he's got the last order. Sunlight, they're just going to take him down. It's Imba from Na'Vi. 9-0. And they're looking for number 10. They've got it. It's the Tiny over to the east. I'm looking for number 11. Roger TP's out, barely gets away, scraping away with 100 HP. And Garter waddling out as this Outlaw Devourer drums are done. But Ryu, honestly, man, should we start reading a Dr. Seuss book or something? Because the Cat in the Hat is going to have a better storyline than what's going on here. Na'Vi is crushing it.
Man, I'm trying to think of a rhyme in my head because you put me on the spot here. Oh god, dang it, I can't do it. No, I'm gonna have to go read Dr. Zeus now. So I can do. I see 1 fish, 2 fish. I see dead fish, all ProDotA fish. I don't know, something along those lines.
What the hell was that?
I don't know. I was trying to go.
1 fish, 2 fish. I see dead fish.
I mean, they're all. That's the thing, right? There's no fishes on this. There's no Naga Sirens. There's no Slarks. I mean, it's just easy fishing though for Na'Vi here though. When you have the perfect setup on General and you don't get a kill there, I mean, they did everything right except for maybe dropping 3 remnants on top of his head, like with the damage from in Sunlight. But this game, like you said, we could make a clown story out of this and could be better.
It's a BKB for Dendy like you shouted out for. Sunlight. Oh man. As an Ember Spirit at this point, you know, it's 15 minutes in. You have to make this kind of executive decision, right? Boots of Travel feel kinda out of the window at this point. But he's not going into the treads. Is he really going to start aiming for late game?
Man, I don't even think did yet. Like, he held on to 2.5k last time, and then he was like, I'll buy Midas. And this is gonna be like the same thing. I'll buy a something. At this point, they all kind of need to have BKBs on the side of Na'Vi if they really want to kind of push high ground and end it really easily, because they like I said, they have so much magic burst damage coming in from ProDotA that if they have these BKBs, there's no way that ProDotA can get a kill this game. It feels like, unless they find the Witch Doctor or the Wisp. But realistically, probably he'll go for, I'll say Ags, just to add to the split push.
10-0. Na'Vi, are you going to have a perfect game? Is that what's happening right now? Ags for General, art style with 1,200 gold, plenty of money, loads of dosh. And Dendy, he's done it. He's got his BKB now. Dichira, you know, he went back like for the mech after Midas, fair enough. But Sunlight, this is rough, man. This is so freaking rough. The smoke is here from PD, actually pushing forward aggressively to try and look for something. Garter's got himself a quarterstaff, which I guess is going to be made into a Dragon Lance. Give yourself that extended range, but the wrap it in. Ditchira, he's going to be the first port of call here if they can just catch him out. And they're looking for the move forward. Static Storm has dropped, and Ditchira is dropping low art style. There's the first kill for PD. A good start as they take him down, but Dendy stands his ground, pummeling into Roger. A couple more hits is all they need, but it's not enough to finish him off. The Enchantress finally drops up on the high ground as this Astral Ditchira buys back into the fight, but he's glimpsed a little bit further back, not to the fountain though. They don't realize he is here and ready to brawl, and they relocate back in aggressively. They're just picking them off one by one. Na'Vi don't care if they have to buy back to win this game. They just want to destroy PD. A good Avatos kills off the Wisp, but that's a dieback and a triple kill for Almost Tiny. But it's going to be the tier 3 tower and, well, not a Rax. As Odie buys back to again return into the battle. Looks for General, the blinker forward from Ahmo, not going to catch anybody. And Na'Vi, they make their full retreat. There's a lot of money wasted, a lot of money lost. And PD do get themselves a good chunk of change there. If they can just catch Ditchira, if Ahmo can get this stun, but it's a TP out already down to bottom lane and there's nothing doing for ProDotA. My big question is, was that worth it for Na'Vi?
I think they lost like at least 6, 7, maybe 8,000 gold there just because of the buybacks on top of that. That was not the play for them. That was a nice smoke wraparound. Oh, General. Is he going to be caught out here too? He doesn't have Firefly. He's dead.
Looks like he's in a lot of trouble. Wisp tries to tether, but General, he's just dead. The lasso is good and the damage
Maybe
output
not.
is pretty decent. As Arstar looks at the Death Ward and Sunlight is dropping low, but the impetus damages from up on high. So Neko with Dendy will finally bring down that Enchantress, but the Astral kept Ammo alive long enough for him to get his nice little combo back. Well, Dendy's BKB. Look at that long range attack. Guards are up on the high ground waiting for the little Drow Ranger to make her move. But what is going on at bottom lane? Ditchira decides that the racks down at bot are obsolete. It's time to clear them up. They cease to exist. But that wasn't what I was looking at. What I'm looking at is freaking Ember Spirits bought a Blade Mail.
Dire's bottom barracks are under attack.
I mean, at this stage of the game, you have to buy all the things that can help you, right? Like, you feel like he's going to lasso somebody on General, and since you're kind of the Ember Spirit, you're initiating all the time,
Dire's top
and you're
tower
not going to be able to farm a Battle Fury at this stage of the game. So what do? You go all aggressive mode. Obviously, it's not going to help out against Dendy just because he has that BKB, but it will help out a lot against the Bat Rider and even man mode. Like if the Nature's Prophet wants to go man mode, he goes man mode and the Blade Mail versus Blade Mail. Let's do it. I'm in. All in, baby.
Let's go, let's do it. Well, at least the Outworld Devourer has finally managed to overtake the Wisp in terms of net worth. Only by 300, but he's still doing okay. The blink forward, Zeke, they don't even need the lasso. That Glimmer Cape is barely gonna get him out of there, but they still find the kill as Roger moving forward. The little sprites coming through. Dendy, he's ready to fight. The BKB is up and ready to use, so that Untouchable is not going to be able to keep him alive as Art Style. He's pummeled by Almo, but it's not enough to kill him off, and a lasso now he's dragged them both back. He caught the two of them, and Dendy, up at Dendy. They take out 4, and ProDotA, they've got nothing left in the tank. They lose bot racks, top racks, mid racks, every racks.
That was the first time I've ever seen an Ags Bat Rider ever be effective.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Like, are you
That's
clapping?
the first
Is that the sound of Ryu clapping? Wow.
I mean, it's not every day you see that happen.
No, I agree with you. I've seen it in competitive games, but it's usually
I've
like...
seen it so many times, like at least purchased 5 or 6 other times, and it never, ever works. So the first time ever, blah, blah, blah. Stupid memes, but whatever. Man, Durka. I mean, you could explain what happened better this game. It was, whew, jeez.
This was an example